Most guys think the way you win is by talking louder, faster, harder. Prove you're right, get the last word, drop the perfect comeback that shuts everybody up. They spend their whole lives swinging words like fists, thinking volume equals strength. I used to be that guy. Then I spent years in a place where the loudest man in the room got broken first. Up in the temple, silence wasn't polite. It was survival. You had 30, 40 monks in one stone hall, no heat, no privacy, training that started before the sun and ended after it died. One wrong word, one unnecessary opinion, and the senior monks would make an example out of you so fast your ego wouldn't know what hit it. They didn't yell back, they didn't argue, they just looked at you, waited, and let the silence do the work. And in that silence you felt smaller than you've ever felt in your life. Because here's the truth they beat into us every single day. The loudest man in the room is the weakest. The second you feel the need to fill the air with noise, you've already announced to everyone that you're scared of what happens if you don't. Scared of looking weak, scared of losing control, scared that if you don't speak right now someone else will take the wheel. So you talk, and every word you throw out is another piece of power you just handed away. The masters never raised their voices, not once. Warlords showed up demanding gold, rival sects came to test the temple, drunk soldiers kicked in the gates looking for a fight. The Grandmaster would step forward, bow slightly, and say nothing. 10 seconds of dead quiet, 20 seconds, 30, you could hear the wind move, and every single time the aggressor started shrinking. Their threats got smaller, their chest. Puffing turned into nervous laughs, and half the time they ended up bowing and backing out the same gate they kicked in. I watched it happen over and over until I finally understood the secret. Silence isn't empty. It's full of confidence, full of control, full of the kind of strength that doesn't need to prove anything because it already knows. When you can stand there, calm, breathing slow, letting the whole room squirm while you say nothing, you become the heaviest presence in any space. People feel it in their gut. They don't know why, but they know they're standing next to something dangerous. And the wild part, you haven't done anything except keep your damn mouth shut. Out here in the real world, it works exactly the same. Walk into a meeting and start running your mouth. Everyone tunes out. Walk in, sit down, say almost nothing, and suddenly every head turns when you finally open up. Get pulled over, start explaining, arguing, justifying. Cop writes the ticket faster. Stay quiet. Answer only what's asked. Short and calm. Half the time he lets you off with a warning because he can't get a read on you. Girl tries to start drama. You hit her with a wall of silence instead of 20 texts defending yourself. Watch how fast she starts chasing your approval. Because when you master silence, you stop leaking energy. Every unnecessary word is a drop of your power hitting the floor. Collect those drops and you become a walking fortress. People will test you at first. They'll poke, prod, try to drag words out of you just to feel normal again. Let them swing at air. The less you give, the more they respect. The more they respect, the less they test. And one day you wake up and realize nobody starts shit with you anymore because they already know the outcome. From this moment forward, make silence your default setting. Talk when it moves the mission. Otherwise, let the quiet do the talking for you. Silence isn't weakness. It's the ultimate flex. You've felt it? That moment when something is about to come flying out of your mouth and you already know it's going to make everything worse. The comeback, the defense, the let me explain, the petty dig, it's right there on the tip of your tongue, burning, begging to be born. And in that split second you have a choice. Let it rip and deal with the wreckage later, or kill it before it ever sees daylight. That's where the monks gave us the deadliest filter I've ever used. 3 seconds of pure, deliberate silence and one question that runs on repeat in your head. 3 seconds, not 5, not 10, 3, long enough to stop the autopilot, short enough that nobody even notices you're doing it. In those 3 seconds, you ask yourself the only thing that matters. Does this need to be said? Does it need to be said right now? And does it need to be said by me? 99 times out of 100, the answer to at least one of those is no. And when one of them is no, you swallow the words and let the moment pass. You stay clean, you stay in control. They drilled this into us the hard way. You're standing in the courtyard, senior monk screaming 2 inches from your face, spit hitting your cheek, calling you every name 1987 name under the sun just to see if you'll break. Your blood is boiling, your fists are clenched, every instinct says swing or speak, and right then you feel the countdown start in your skull. 1, 2, 3. By the time you hit 3, the storm has already lost half its power. You look him dead in the eye, say nothing, and watch him run out of steam because there's no target to hit anymore. 3 seconds is the perfect kill zone. It's the exact length of time it takes for the emotional brain to start handing the wheel back to the rational one. Miss it and you're reacting. Hit it and you're choosing. I've used those 3 seconds in bar fights, in $1,000,000 negotiations, in arguments with people I love when everything was on the line. Every single time I ran that filter, I walked away stronger. Every single time I skipped it, I spent the next week cleaning up the mess. Start using it today. Next time your boss dumps on you in a meeting and 20 comebacks line up like soldiers, feel the countdown. 1, 2, 3. Does this need to be said? Probably not. Does it need to be said right now? Definitely not. Does it need to be said by me? Someone else can carry that weight. Words die in your throat. You nod once, and you watch the whole room shift because you just refuse to play the game. Same thing when some guy on the internet talks trash under your post. 1, 2, 3. Does this need a response? Hell no. Let him scream into the void while you keep building. Same thing when your woman is heated and looking for a fight. 1, 2, 3. Most of the time the smartest move is no move at all. Do this for 30 days straight and something insane happens. You stop even feeling the urge to speak half the time. Your brain rewires itself to default to power instead of noise. People start describing you as calm, dangerous, hard to read. And they have no idea it's just 3 quiet seconds and 3 simple questions doing all the heavy lifting. From this second forward, every word that wants out has to pass the 3-second filter or it stays locked up forever. 3 seconds of silence today saves you a lifetime of regret tomorrow. You ever notice how the guys who talk the most are the easiest to figure out? 10 minutes around them and you already know exactly what pisses them off, what they're insecure about, what buttons to push to send them into a tailspin. They hand you the entire map to their mind on a silver platter, then act shocked when somebody uses it against them. The monks saw that weakness 1,000 years ago and built their whole game around the opposite principle. People only respect what they can't fully read. When you run your mouth, you're basically stripping naked in public. Every opinion, every story, every little flex is another piece of clothing hitting the floor. Pretty soon everyone in the room has seen everything there is to see, and mystery is gone. Respect follows mystery. Once they think they've got you completely figured out, you're done. You become predictable. Predictable men get played, passed over, and punched in the mouth when it matters. The masters turn silence into armor thicker than steel. You'd see a grandmaster sit in a room full of warlords, generals, emperors, men with armies behind them, and he'd say almost nothing for hours. No bragging about his skill, no explaining his philosophy, no defending his temple. Just a slight nod here, a calm look there, and the occasional one. Sentence answer that told you exactly 0 about what was really going on inside his head. And every single one of those powerful men left the room talking about how they'd just met the most dangerous person they'd ever encountered. Why? Because the human brain hates a vacuum. When you refuse to fill the silence with noise, other people rush in and fill it for you, and what do they fill it with? Their own projections. They see depth where there's quiet. They see strength where there's restraint. They see wisdom where there's no explanation. You become whatever they're afraid of, whatever they admire, whatever they secretly wish they could be, and all you did was keep your damn mouth shut. I've watched it play out 1,000 times since I left the mountain. Walk into a high-stakes meeting and start oversharing your strategy. Everyone relaxes because now they know your limits. Walk in, Say the bare minimum and watch the energy shift. People lean forward, they start second, guessing themselves. They give you better deals just to try and figure out what you're really thinking. Same thing on a date, same thing in an argument, same thing when some dude is sizing you up on the street. Silence makes you 10 feet tall in their imagination. The less you reveal, the bigger you become in their mind. It's the cheapest, fastest way to level up your presence on the planet. You don't need a new watch, a louder voice, or a better comeback. You just need to master the art of letting them guess, and the beautiful part, they'll almost always guess in your favor. They'll assume you're smarter, stronger, calmer, more dangerous than you probably are, because the unknown is terrifying and magnetic at the same time. Start playing that game today. Next time you feel the urge to explain yourself, to prove you're right, to fill the awkward pause, resist it. Let them sit in the discomfort of not knowing. Watch their respect grow in direct proportion to the words you refuse to say. When they can't read you, they can only respect you. You've seen it a million times. Two guys arguing, voices getting louder, faces red, both trying to out. Talk the other like it's a damn shouting competition. 10 minutes later, nobody remembers what started it, but both are dug in, pride bleeding on the floor, and neither one is walking away looking strong. That's what happens when you take the bait. But there's a move the monks used that flips the entire game on its head. Shut your mouth and watch the other person hand you every card in their deck. The second you go quiet, the room changes. The energy has nowhere to go except straight back at the person who started swinging. They expected a fight. They prepared for pushback. When they get nothing but calm eyes and silence instead, the pressure builds inside them like steam in a sealed pot. And human nature can't stand pressure without a release valve. So they start talking more, explaining harder, justifying, repeating themselves, getting emotional, sometimes even apologizing without realizing it. All because you refuse to give them anything to push against. I saw this play out in the temple courtyard more times than I can count. Some hot-headed visitor would storm in demanding answers, throwing accusations, trying to provoke a reaction. The master would just stand there, hands folded, breathing slow. 10 seconds of silence, 20, 30, and every single time the visitor would crack first. Their voice would get louder, then shaky, then they'd start spilling their real motives, their fears, their weaknesses. By the time they ran out of steam, the master knew exactly who he was dealing with, and the visitor knew he'd already lost. Same thing works everywhere else. In a negotiation, let the other guy talk himself hoarse while you nod once every minute. He'll offer better terms just to fill the void. In an argument with your woman, stay quiet and watch her go from angry to confused to soft in under 5 minutes. On the street, when some dude is posturing, lock eyes, say nothing, and watch his chest. Puffing deflate because he can't tell if you're about to hug him or end him. Silence is the ultimate truth serum. People can't help but reveal themselves when no one's feeding the conversation. They over-explain their position, expose their insecurities, show you exactly where they're weak, and the entire time you're collecting intel without spending a single calorie of energy. You learn what they want, what they fear, what they'll fold on. By the time you finally decide to speak, if you even bother, you already know exactly what to say and when to say it. Most of the time you don't need to say anything at all, because they just talk themselves into whatever outcome you wanted. It feels unnatural at first. Your whole life you've been taught that silence means you're losing. That if you don't speak up you're weak, you're scared, you're letting them win. Total lie. Silence is the highest form of dominance there is. It forces the other person to fight their own demons in real time while you watch from the sidelines, calm, untouched, and in complete control. Start using it today. Next time someone comes at you hot, resist the urge to clap back. Lock in, breathe, and let the silence stretch. Count the seconds if you have to. Watch them fill the air with everything you need to know. They'll hand you the victory long before you ever open your mouth. When you stay silent, they reveal everything, and you reveal nothing. You've got the filter, you've tasted the power of mystery, you've watched people hand you their whole playbook just because you stayed quiet. Now let's lock this in with a rule so simple it feels like cheating. From this day forward, every single thing that comes out of your mouth is one sentence or less. That's it. No paragraphs, no essays, no, let me break it down for you. One clean sentence, then you shut it down. The monks lived by this like it was sacred law. A warlord rides up with 100 men, demands tribute, threatens to burn the temple to the ground. The Grand Master steps forward, looks him dead in the eye, and says 4 words, "Leave while you can." Then silence. Warlord screams, postures, threatens some more. Grand Master waits. Finally the warlord rides away cursing, because 4 words and absolute calm were heavier than any army. One sentence hits like a sniper round. Long answers scatter like birdshot. When you talk too much, you dilute your power, give people room to argue, room to twist, room to forget the punch. One sentence lands clean, sticks in their skull, and leaves no space for debate. Short answers command. Long answers beg for permission. I started enforcing this the day I walked out of the mountains. Boardroom full of suits trying to low. Haul me on a deal. They throw numbers, justifications, 20. It's speeches about market conditions. I wait my turn, lean forward, and say 8 words, double it or I walk right now. A room goes dead, they doubled it. Same thing when some dude twice my size started barking in a parking lot. One sentence, keep talking and find out. He didn't keep talking. Same thing when family tries to drag you into 3-hour drama loops. One sentence, I'm not doing this tonight. Conversation over, respect up, stress down. At first people will push. They're addicted to noise. They'll say, what do you mean? Or that's all you've got to say. Let them swing at air. Your job isn't to make them comfortable. Your job is to stay in control. One sentence, then silence. If they still push, you repeat the exact same sentence, same tone, or you say nothing at all. Repetition plus silence is an unbreakable wall. Do this for a week and watch how fast your presence changes. People stop arguing with you because there's nothing to grab onto. They start listening when you do speak because they know every word is gold. Your woman starts respecting your opinions more because they come rare and heavy. Your boss starts trusting your judgment because you don't waste his time with fluff. Even random strangers treat you different. Short answers read as confidence. Long answers read as insecurity. And the best part, you save massive energy. No more 10-minute explanations nobody remembers anyway. No more defending yourself to people who already made up their minds. Just one clean strike, then back to your mission. You'll get hours of your life back every single week. Hours you can pour into lifting, building, stacking money, or just enjoying the quiet you finally earned. Starting right now, every response you give is 1 sentence or less. No exceptions make it a non-negotiable rule written in stone. 1 sentence or silence, that's the new law, and it makes you unstoppable. You've got the armor now. You know silence is power. You run the 3-second filter, you stay unreadable, you let them talk themselves dry, and you answer in 1 sentence or less. But every once in a while someone shows up who refuses to take the hint. They keep pushing, keep demanding, keep trying to drag words out of you like it's their god. Given right. That's when you pull out the final weapon the monks kept in reserve for emperors, warlords, and anyone too arrogant to back down. 3 words, delivered ice cold, then you turn and walk. The sentence is simple, figure it out. That's it. No anger, no explanation, no extra syllables. Just those 3 words, flat, calm, final, like you're closing a steel door. Then you leave the room, end the call, or turn your back and keep moving. No second chance, no debate, no chance for them to reload. I saw the Grand Master use it once on a general who rode in with 200 armed men demanding the temple pay protection money. General ranted for 20 minutes, swords rattling, horses stomping. Grand Master listened without blinking. When the general finally ran out of breath and screamed, "Well, what do you say to that?" The old man looked up, voice quiet as falling snow, and said, "Figure it out." Then he bowed once and walked back inside. The general sat on his horse for a long minute, face red, mouth opening and closing like a fish. Then he turned the entire column around and rode away, never came back. 3 words ended an army. I started using them the day I left the mountain, and they've never failed me once. Boss tries to dump extra work on a Friday night with some long sob story. Figure it out. Friend keeps calling drunk at 2 a.m. wanting to rehash the same problem for the 100th time. Figure it out. Random keyboard warrior in the comments writing essays under your post. Reply once. Figure it out. Then block and move on. It works because it does 3 things at once. First, it refuses to play their game. Second, it puts the entire weight of the problem back on their shoulders where it belonged in the first place. Third, it signals absolute certainty that you don't need to be involved anymore. There's no anger for them to feed off, no explanation for them to twist, no opening for negotiation. Just a locked door and the sound of your footsteps walking away. People hate it. Good. Let them hate it. Their discomfort is proof it's working. They'll call you arrogant, cold, whatever coping word helps them sleep. Doesn't matter. You're not here to be liked by everyone. You're here to protect your time, your energy, and your peace. And 3 calm words followed by immediate action protect all 3 better than any 10-minute argument ever could. Start carrying it today like a loaded gun you hope you never have to use. The first time someone crosses the line and you hit them with figure it out, and walk, you'll feel the shift in your bones. You'll realize you just drew a boundary in concrete. Do it a few more times and people stop crossing that line altogether. They learn fast that pushing you past a certain point gets them nothing but silence and a closed door. From this moment on, when someone demands more than you're willing to give, you have royal permission to end the conversation forever with 3 words and 1 step. Figure it out. And that's the last thing they'll ever hear from a man who's done talking.